PYX106.
It's 1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Here's the guy that's not in any of the commercials.
Yeah, why aren't you in any of the commercials, Chaz?
Because I got a face for radio.
How old of a guy are you, Charles Farcher?
I'm in my 30s, early 30s.
In your 30s, you got a beautiful wife and family.
Yeah.
You got a brand new house. From what we understand, you've got a mother-in-law that lives there.
Well, not with me, but nearby.
Oh, nearby. Oh, she doesn't live with you?
Put a couple miles between us. That's a safe distance.
It's never enough. It's never enough.
How is the new house going, by the way?
It's going very well, you know. I'm not here much. I spend a lot of time at the office, but I think it's going pretty well. My wife tells me anyway.
Chaz was shampooing his carpets. He had the whole house to himself the other day. And he was shampooing his carpets.
You work too hard
house.
to have to do that, man.
Hey, listen, when the family goes away and you got the whole place to yourself, you want to kick back, you break out the rug doctor. That's what you do.
Quinn breaks out the bowl and Netflix.
Yeah.
Well,
that's fun, too.
All right, let me ask you this, and I know I think Paul answered this for CBS 6 last week, but do I have any rights or do I have to go to work regardless of the snow, Chaz?
Generally, yeah. You know, in New York State, unless they declare a state of emergency, we're an at-will employment state, which means regardless of how great you guys are on the air, if you don't have a specific employment contract or a labor agreement, you can be let go at any time for any reason, and as long as it's not one of the protected reasons, which is age, race, sex, sexual orientation. As long as it's not one of those reasons, anytime you can go.
But if the governor says state of emergency, only essential employees should travel, how do I know if that's me?
Well, you're pretty essential, so I would clarify with my employer, but you guys are pretty essential. So
but if we didn't show up, we would get fired. I mean, we're not that essential.
I guess not. The general rule is this: is if the place where you work, your business is open, and you're supposed to be there, then you should be there. Obviously, you got to use common sense, and if the roads are dangerous, call your employer, make sure they're open. If you got time, you can charge or use, see if that's a possibility. But generally speaking, if the employer gets there, if your business is open, you got to be there too.
All right, we're talking to Chas Farcher from Martin, Harding, and Mazzotti, 1-800-LAW-1010 and 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Let's talk about Michael Dunn. This is the guy who was brought up of found guilty on 3 or 4 charges for firing a weapon into an SUV. What is the hang-up on that 4th charge, which was what? Straight-up murder, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I think the problem is this: the prosecutors overcharged him. They charged him with first-degree murder, which requires premeditation. I mean, it's usually it's a pre-planned murder, hitman type stuff. It's not just second-degree murder, which is an intentional killing. I mean to kill someone in the moment. And I think that's where the difficulty is. It's going to be billed as a problem with the stand your ground law, but I think it has little to do with that. I think what the jurors got hung up on is whether or not there was actual premeditation or pre-planning here.
Didn't this guy have some sort of history, though? I mean, I feel like this guy had a history of some violent acts and that sort of stuff.
And that's what I wanted to ask. If they talked to some of his ex-wives who claim he beat them, but none of that's even admissible in court, right?
Generally, no. You can't use past acts to prove a propensity, and you don't want someone judged on what they've done 6, 7, 8 years ago. You want them judged on the facts around what's going on with this event, and I think you got 3 right verdicts. You just got hung up on one. Either way, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison.
We heard that the day after when he married one of his ex-wives, he forced her into a swinger party.
Yeah. And
then when she didn't want to participate, he beat her.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been juicy.
This is not the kind of guy you want walking the streets.
Oh my God.
How about this?
That's it. Good.
No, how about this serial killer chick? You believe her?
The Craigslist killer?
Yeah, she says she's she's got one murder down. She's going to go ahead and try to rack up a bunch of them, maybe.
Well, why not? I mean, if you're going to go away for that long, you might as well try and get it in the books, right?
Yeah, but where are the bodies?
Yeah.
Where are the missing persons
There has to be
reports?
missing people, and I mean,
not
is
if
this a
you're
joke?
not if you're that good. If you got 22, I guess you figured out a way to do it.
There really is no answer to that question, I know, but it is interesting and compelling to watch.
Well, I appreciate your take because that's the one angle I hadn't heard, that the prosecution overcharges a Michael Dunn guy. And then we should give it up to the jurors, too. They spent 30 hours deliberating. That's pretty impressive, right?
Yeah, listen, I think they got the right verdict on 3 counts. Like I said, the issue that's going to be building news is the stand your ground thing. That's not the problem. The stand your ground, every state has a self-defense law. We have it in New York. The difference is in New York, you got a duty to retreat. You don't have that duty in Florida. If Quinn decided he had enough of your antics, Cantera, and he came at you with a baseball bat, even him coming at you in New York, you'd have a duty to try and run away and get away if
Yeah.
you could. In Florida, you don't have that, and that's going to be the build issue here. But it's not the problem. I think the problem is the
You have
prosecutor
no idea
overcharged.
how accurately you've described some of our past history. You seriously have no idea.
Hey,
I've run to my house and he followed me.
followed
It
you.
was a different state.
Well, I'm
but he
not good at-
followed
I'm
me.
not good
I
at,
should have shot him.
conflict resolution. Yeah.
shot you.
Hey, you're from Saugerties. Did you know Jimmy Fallon?
I didn't. My older brother did.
Yeah.
I guess they spent some time at the lunch table. He actually lived in my hometown, graduated from my high school, and then we ended up at the same college, but again, years apart. So
There you go.
and maybe I'll be the next host of the Tonight Show
Well,
so
it's
we can
ex-
continue on this track.
It's exciting, though, isn't it? It's pretty exciting
I'd
stuff.
shoot for just being in one commercial first.
Yeah, one commercial.
It's pretty cool. I'm so very tempted to call him up and just try and pull a favor as a fellow Saugertesian.
Chas Farcher, we lobby for you. Don't worry. We got your back. Thanks for joining us, buddy. We appreciate
Hey,
it.
thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
All right, see you, Chaz. Thanks.
Log on, listen loud, classic rock, and Quinn and Cantera at iHeartRadio.com.